So, hello student. So, we are in the second lecture of module 12 special waste, and in this lecture I will talk about management of biomedical, e-waste and inert waste. This is just a introduction about this kind of waste, because you need to really well aware about this kind of waste, because even biomedical waste, e-waste are getting generated in the residential area. Even the biomedical waste generated from the household area, even e-waste is also getting generated from the residential area. So, need to be also discussed, and but their management, collection is different, treatment is also different, rules also are different for that. But I think is need to aware how these waste are getting separated from the MSW waste, because these waste should not be reached to the sanitary landfill of MSW or whatever treatment facility we talked in the previous lectures, like biological treatment or chemical treatment processes. These kind of waste should not be reached into those facilities. Okay. So, first we will talk about the special waste, which in the last lecture I talked about construction demolition waste. Normally when you talk about special waste, so see this C&D waste not considered as special waste. So, the definition of special waste are given, like including domestic hazardous waste comprises of any solid waste or a combination of solid waste required special handling, special disposal because of its quantity, concentration and different characteristics or different biological property, which order to protect human health as well as environment. This is the proper definition of special waste. So, this C&D waste do not comes under the as a special waste, but I thought of to make a one particular module. So, in the same module, a special waste module, I thought of include the C&D waste also, which I had discussed in the previous lecture. So, when you talk about special waste, normally is characterized with the plastic waste, biomedical waste, slaughterhouse waste, e-waste, that is electrical electronic waste, waste tires and battery waste. This is the major classifications are the special waste. Today because I am going to talk only onto the biomedical waste and e-waste, because of their large quantity. Plastic waste we already talked onto the MSW also we talked, but this slaughterhouse waste, waste tires, this is separate. Although they are also producing in the or getting generated in the municipal area, but I think the bigger challenges are biomedical and e-waste. So, the special waste including domestic hazardous waste should not be entered to the municipal solid waste stream. So, whatever the dustbin we provided, whatever the treatment facility or sanitary landfill we designed for MSW, these waste should not be entered in such facilities. And the special waste are generated at the household and commercial level due to the lack of segregation at source, improper collection system, and they frequently end up into the mixed MSW waste. You will see lot of household biomedical waste like tablet or even lot of liquids are getting mixed into the MSW. And other hazardous waste also is getting mixed into the MSW because of lack of facilities. Also e-waste like battery, normally we disposed into the MSW only, but that battery has to be collected. The special rule is available for the battery waste disposal, but I think we do not have that kind of facility right now in our country or most of the developing nations. So, the special waste management including domestic hazardous waste, the guidelines from integrated solid waste management hierarchy wise, if you see that should be reuse, recycle, and waste that cannot be reduced or minimized should be reused or resource recovery. The e-waste can be reused or recycle Biomedical waste should not be recycled and should be appropriately treated and disposed to prevent hazardous impact of dumping of such kind of waste. So, mostly the biomedical waste goes to the incineration facilities and very few concentration is only getting recycled, but that is only the plastic is coming from the biomedical facilities. Also, recycling of special waste including domestic hazard waste provides economics as well as environmental benefit, reduce the reliance on virgin material. And this is not only for the special waste, but for the even for MSW. If you are able to reuse whether is a paper, plastic, rubber, leather, metal, tin, glass, C&D waste, even e-waste, even some kind of biomedical waste could be possible to reuse. So, is always beneficial because will be required less virgin materials and also is good for the environment. First we will start from the biomedical waste. So, these biomedical waste generated during the diagnosis, treatment or other activities in the hospitals. So, these biomedical waste shall be disposed of in accordance with the biomedical waste management rule 2016 and schedule 3 of this biomedical waste rule 2016 mandate the local authority such as Gram Panchayat, municipality or corporation or any ULB provide to allocate suitable land for setting up a common biomedical waste treatment facility in their respective jurisdiction as per as guidelines of CPCB. So, in the every corporations or every urban centers this schedule 3 has to be implemented, so that they should have provide one centralized or common biomedical waste management facility. So, there the not only the storage, segregation, some recycling and final disposal, maybe incineration or landfilling also has to be provided in that particular facilities. Under that schedule 3, the site selection is very important. The department in the business allocation of land assignment shall be responsible for providing suitable site for the setting up common biomedical waste treatment facility in the state government or urban or union territory administration. The selection of site for setting up such facility shall be made in consultation with the prescribed authority or other stakeholders and in accordance with guidelines published by the Ministry of Environment, Forest, Climate Change and Central Pollution Control Board. So, this site selection is also very important here. This also similar kind of site selection for sanitary landfill. So, now we will talk about household biomedical waste, like based on the small study of 500 households in Hyderabad, the biomedical hazard waste amount to nearly 15% of total waste. So, it is a good percentage of household biomedical waste. So, if you can read this particular source. As per the Press Information Bureau report, biomedical waste accounts nearly 10% of total waste and India's biomedical waste is growing at an annual rate of 7% as per the Associated Chamber of Commerce and Industry. This is a good percentage, is increasing. This is regarding household biomedical waste. And also you can read that neglect of biomedical waste. So, if you can read this line, that increased lifespan, rise of non-communicable disease, the growing buying power and better access to healthcare facilities. Because of that the biomedical waste generation also is getting increased because of now the better access of healthcare facilities now, and which resulted increase in the generation of household waste. And the biggest problem is that these household biomedical we usually get mixed into the other household waste in India, posing the numerous public health hazards. So, what type of household biomedical waste? Here soiled sanitary napkin and the problem with the sanitary napkins could contain blood. This is highly toxic and problematic, and once it will mix into the MSW, now is difficult to get segregate. That is why in the MSW rule clearly notified that the entire household waste should segregated in 3 parts: wet waste, dry waste and household hazardous waste. Okay. So, this comes under the household hazardous waste. Now, next is the adult or baby diapers, blood cottons, could be split mercury from the thermometers, injected needles, and these blood sugar strips. This also contain blood. So, normally when you take the blood sample, we never thought of this could be one of the very hazardous kind of material, and normally when you take this, once the blood is getting dried out, so we will dispose simply into the that plastic bag or household will mix into the household waste by without thinking that these blood could create further issues. Also discarded insulins. Okay. Due to the infectious and hazardous characteristic, biomedical waste should be segregated from other municipal waste at source and handled appropriately at collection and storage point, the healthcare establishments. So, for that the biomedical waste generated in the household should be segregated as per the biomedical waste management rule 2016, and biomedical waste should be handled over in the separate bags or containers to the municipal waste collector. Normally this yellow bins is proposed to each house to store the household hazardous waste, and ULBs, that local authority shall have tie up with the common biomedical waste treatment facility to pick up these kind of waste from the MRF centers from the households directly for the final disposal. And now the biomedical waste from the healthcare establishment like hospitals, nursing homes or pathologic laboratory, these waste should be segregated at the point of generation and stored in color coded containers, okay, which I will show in the next slide separately, and based on the whatever the biomedical waste rule. That first rule came in 1998, amended in 2011 and 16. So, do the segregation. Normally there is a 4 colored segregation way, and these category of waste hardly 25 to 30% of total waste generated by the healthcare facilities could be this could be the hazardous, that 25 to 30%. So, mostly the people are thinking that entire biomedical waste is a hazardous in nature, but that is not true. The only 25 to 30% is hazardous in nature, sometimes is well below of this kind of one. So, is again depend upon what kind of healthcare facilities, like the hospitals do not have nursing facilities, and only small hospitals, there I think the hazardous waste production will be the very small quantity. There is no surgery facility in the hospital. So, in those cases I think a lot of your hazardous waste do not come out from the such kind of facilities, and these biomedical waste again sent to the further treatment dispose. So, when I say here 25 to 30% is hazardous, means remaining could be recycled. Okay. So, this is essential to ensure the MSW generated from healthcare establishment is not contaminated and does not pose any health and environmental risks to the waste handlers, processing plants or users of end products of MSW at processing facility. So, normally this biomedical waste classified into 4 category as per the rule 2016. So, these are the 4 categories. These are color coded categories: yellow, red, white and blue. So, this is the yellow part. I think if you visit in any hospital, you will find these 4 kind of containers. The yellow, red, white and blue. These 4 containers in different floors also you will find it in this kind of facility, properly covered dustbins. So, like in the yellow bins which will what kind of waste is suggested to dispose, like human anatomical waste or chemical waste in the I think you can also go through that. Even the biomedical waste rule 2016 also suggested the type of waste and also what kind of treatment and disposal is proposed. So, mostly this yellow waste normally is proposed to go for incineration facility. Next is the red one, that is a contaminated waste. These are the recyclable one, should be separated one. Next is a white one, white color one, that waste sharps including metals. So, this is a sharp material, okay, like needles will come into this category. And last is the blue. Blue is a glasswares or metallic body implants or cardboard boxes, that will come into the blue bin. This is also recyclable one. So, the major concentration or which will goes to the incineration facility, that is yellow dustbin waste. So, what is existing rule for treatment of biomedical waste? So, as I was talking about that biomedical waste rule has for first it was come in 1998 by idea of the proper handling and disposal of waste. Then now is modified 2016 and 2016 clearly classified in 4 category. So, earlier in 2011 there was 10 categories, now they minimize, because all these 10 category, the most of the other category, few categories used to go for incineration facility. Now, the major here, the understanding here in the biomedical waste, I think if you visit any biomedical treatment facilities, it will have few facilities, like the important facility will be the incineration facility. So, whatever that yellow dustbin waste is coming, that will go for entire for the combustion process, okay, incineration facility. And what kind of incineration? The similar kind of incineration which we talk for MSW, okay. But in MSW also we talked about waste to energy plants, but in biomedical waste I think they here not much discussion onto waste to energy or energy production. The here, because operation or handling of the hazardous waste itself is a difficult task. So, only combustion is enough, and the how best we can dispose of the residues and clean the polluted air. That guidelines is given in the rule, and the remaining will goes to the recycling facility. Mostly the plastic items, even some metal items also is recyclable one. That facility also you will be able to find. Also, because while segregation, because many healthcare waste or biomedical waste contain liquid. So, that liquid has to be emptied maybe manually or mechanically, mostly the manually, lot of manpower involved to clear out those material. Even the many times these kind of material is under the pockets. So, this could be a paper made pockets or plastic pockets, that particular material has to be take it out, that is manually only is possible. So, there are lot of manpower you will see that while segregation of the material, and because of that that liquid, lot of wastewater is also getting generated, and you will find one wastewater treatment facility also onto the biomedical waste management facilities. So, as I told, there are 4-5 facilities, like start from the incineration facility, next is the recycling facility of plastic and metal, segregation facility, and wastewater treatment facility. Likewise, you can find and is very interesting site to see, but only take care, puts a proper mask and do not touch in such kind of locations, because mostly these materials are hazardous in nature. Okay. Now, we will go for e-waste. Okay. When you say that e-waste, so anybody can understand is a electrical or electronics waste. So, e-waste means any waste from the electrical, electronic equipments or whole or in parts, or could be rejects from their manufacturing or repair process. And according to the schedule 4 of e-waste management rule 2016, the responsibility of ULBs are to ensure that e-waste, if found to be mixed with MSW, is properly segregated, collected and is channelized to the either authority or recyclable, and to ensure that e-waste pertaining to orphan product is collected and channelized to either in authorized recycler facilities. Okay. So, normally these e-waste also you can find it into the MSW. So, the local authority has to be have one particular mechanism to take it out those e-waste from the MSW. And municipal authority must therefore give basic education to their staff or identification on identification of e-waste. So, I think one of the lecture I was talking about primary collection for house to house collection facilities. So, if that particular person is well able or well understandable to what kind of e-waste, and if you do the proper awareness in the local areas from the local authorities like corporations, and the people will store these kind of e-waste, even biomedical waste also they will be stored in separately, and I think local authority can plan of such kind of collection on the one particular day. Maybe you need not to plan for collection of such kind of waste every day, because everyday generation won't be possible. So, maybe once in a week, or maybe for such kind of waste collection, the good idea to have the drop off facilities in particular locality. So, you can well aware to the local authority, local people to drop their waste, either is a waste, biomedical waste, even the bulky waste like table, chair, these kind of in e-waste could be a fridge, a refrigerator or cooler, is a big size material. Even the tricycle person also can't collect, and also you can make it that drop off center to the buyback center. So, maybe somebody can collect such kind of material, and there are a lot of recycler people or can be utilized such kind of material. Also can plan some kind of incentives to the local people, so that they will be interested to dispose their waste into the such kind of facilities. So, this is the pile of e-waste you can see here is a mixed e-waste. It has been suggested that e-waste has to be categorized in two categories, the category 1 and 2. So, category 1 suggested the waste pertaining from information technology or telecommunication equipments like printer, telephone, notebook, computer, this will be come up in special category, and other category is consumer electrical and electronics like television set, refrigerator, washing machine, air conditioned, this should be in the separate category. Now, e-waste constituents, e-waste consists of more than 1000 different components which can be segregated as hazardous and non-hazardous. So, typically e-waste consists of ferrous metal, plastic, non-ferrous metal like copper, aluminum, silver, gold could be possible, other components like glass, and most plastic components in e-waste include that is normally is a hazardous in nature. So, the important notes here that the e-waste like battery used in the electronic equipments which is not considered as an e-waste management rule. Okay. Even the dry cell batteries, even the CFLs are not under the e-waste category. Okay. So, there are only two categories, you remember that there are two categories. One is a information technology telecommunication equipment and second category is consumer electrical and electronics. E-waste handling in India. So, by formal sector, like it includes the facility authorized to deconstruct electronics having capacity of disposing 5 tons per day. So, this formal sector receives e-waste from the producers of service center or take back scheme. So, this is what I was talking about, drop off centers and take back scheme also they can propose. Formal sector only follow the procedure of dismantling and segregating parts, and they do not physically dispose of e-waste. And informal sector handles e-waste by recycling or final disposal. There is a whole economic market for e-waste because of the part can be dismantled and scrap metal can be recycled. So, I think if you ask me also, we do not have proper information, we do not have data of informal sector. Okay. Even the disposal, they perform the acid bath, burning cables or disposing in landfill, this informal sector. Method of e-waste treatment and disposal, the major is a incineration, similar like biomedical waste. So, the incineration, the only again the problem is that is a very harmful gases are producing, and another is a acid bath, this also possible. This is for collection of the metals could be possible from the acid bath. So, you can see by a bare hand informal sectors are trying to segregate or recover the valued product out of that, because gold, silver is easy to find, but the concentration is low, but there is a still huge informal market is available for that. This is the purely one particular plant of acid bath. And finally, landfilling is a most common methodology, but even the I personally won't believe that, or I won't accept the landfilling of such kind of material, because the landfill is not environmentally sound process. So, is not recommended, particularly from my side also, and whomever know that these kind of material can create problem in the landfill area, because it will leach out with a lot of metals into the soil and into the groundwater, and lot of gas also, or lot of toxic substances will get released out from these kind of materials. So, is not acceptable. But now in India there are number of cities has their own policies of e-waste collections. Mostly the formal informal sectors are notified by the local authorities who can collect this kind of waste and can go for proper treatment and disposal of such kind of waste. So, what existing rule? The same like these rules are based on principle of extended procedure responsibility EPR, wherein the producer engaged in the manufacturing, sale and purchase of electrical electronics equipment is responsible for the end of life management of electrical electronic produced listed in schedule 1 of the rule. I think here I will give one example, like you know that the mobile company like Samsung and LG, they all comes from the South Korea. So, there what rule suggested, because there this EPR, extended producer responsibility, is very famous. So, if you purchase any mobile in South Korea like Samsung or LG, you will get some kind of discount onto the discount if you give the old mobile to the same shop. So, if you take your old mobile and go for purchase of new mobile phone of the same company, you will get maybe 5%, 10% discount. And why this discount is provided? Because that same old mobile is getting recycled by the parent company, whether it is a LG or Samsung. So, that is why the product also is coming into that country is a more recyclable one, but the same product of same company are coming to the other part of the country, the recycle fractions are very less. That is why if you purchase any mobile in the South Korea, that will not work in the other part of the world. And because these are same company, they are fabricating or they are manufacturing the product based on their country rule. So, our the modified 2016 rule is majorly focused onto the principle of extended producer responsibility. So, that I think any like refrigerator company, if the same refrigerator company is able to recycle their old refrigerator, so I think this is the best way of reuse or disposal of such kind of material. So, I think India is also working on to that, and we have to see that how we can extend such kind of facilities in India in next 15-20 years. Now, the next waste is a inert waste. This is also very important in MSW, and when this MSW waste collection by the collection crew, they will collect the waste from the household area, commercial areas, but also will be collect this inert waste from the street sweeping by the street sweeping activities. So, the street cleaning is a fundamental service to ensure clean and hygiene urban condition. So, I think when I thought of to add this discussion into this course, because when you say the Swachha or any clean area, normally we will see the roads or the surrounding of that particular area, and that involved the only activity, that is street sweeping activity, or is involved into that, and nobody will see that how whether you segregated waste generated in the household area, whether how you disposed of, but the cleaning of the streets is giving the more importance. That is why this discussion is very important when you talked about waste management in any particular city. The street waste including paper, plastic, dirt, leaves and other vegetative matter. So, you can see here paper, plastic, dirt, leaves. See, for in most of the cities they come up with litter bins. You will see some dustbins are hanging somewhere in some one particular commercial areas, so that all the users, they can dispose into that particular dustbin. But I think you know that in India or mostly developing nations, people are not well aware about the waste management. So, that is why the paper, plastic also, you see here the packaging materials you are getting into the as in street sweeping material. Dirt, leaves, I think this we can't collect it, but has to be clean it time to time, and even vegetative matter also is there. That is why you will see number of cattles onto the street, especially cow onto the street, because they are getting lot of eatable materials into the MSW. And manual sweeping is very common in India, as many streets and narrow streets. An insufficient waste collection system coupled with public littering significantly contribute to waste piles on the street. So, what is the requirement on the street cleaning under solid waste management rule 2016? Direct street sweeper should not burn tree leaves collected from the street sweeping and store them separately, hand over to the waste collector or agency authorized by the local body. So, this is important directive, because most of the cases what the street sweepers will do, they will pile up one location, but I think is not close to the habitations, somewhere in the park or some outskirt area, and they will go for firing of that particular material. So, the firing is not allowed actually. The collect separately waste from the sweeping of street lanes and by lanes daily or in alternate days or twice a week depending on the density of population. So, similarly, the manual handling of waste is prohibited. They have to use the proper hand gloves and proper mask, so that they should not have any health issue for collection of street sweeping waste. So, these workers should be provided with protective gear such as uniform, shoes, gloves, and proper health insurance also should be provided to the street sweepers. Planning for street sweeping, will be required equipments and staff requirement will be required. So, like when you talk about equipments, will be required broom for sweeping, will require hand carts, a tricycle or tractor, or even the small auto tippers will be required. So, it is been suggested for the small town, medium size, medium city and mega cities. So, what kind of facilities, even the staff requirement, like high density road, one person for 300 to 350 running meters, and medium density road like one person per 500 running meters of road length. So, these all suggested for the small city, medium city and mega cities. Streets classification, street cleaning frequency, like this is a very important guidelines is given in solid waste manual. They characterize the different streets in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I categories, and take example of A, class A, that is city center or shopping mall area, or that particular streets daily or twice depending on need. So, mostly the major streets need to be swept daily, and some roads even need not to be clean, like highways only in the important occasions need to be clean, or some roads need to be clean once in a week. So, likewise this is also good explanation is given on to the frequency of cleaning of roads. So, the street sweeping in residential area may be carried out in 2 spells, 5 hours in the morning and 3 to 4 hours in the afternoon. Staff involved in the street sweeping should also be responsible for cleaning drains up to 18-inch depth and along the same beat. Okay. This is also another activity for the street sweeping staffs, is not only the street sweeping, but also they will be responsible for cleaning the drains, and multiple handling of waste should be avoided. Local sanitary inspector should be responsible for inspecting and maintaining records of that particular activity. And ULB can adopt different strategies for tourist places. They can adopt different way, because they are tourist spot. So, maybe the sweeping could be in the different way, mechanical sweeping also could be possible, motorized sweeping they can plan, or even drain clean material should not be stored there. So, likewise different policy they can come up, and regular cleaning, they can propose for the different location, like regular cleaning throughout the day 2 to 3 times, and during the weekends and national holiday may be necessary, they can make it. So, you will see here manual street sweeping in the early morning. So, manual cleaning involves sweeping and collection of waste by sanitation worker from the street, roads and lanes. This includes the cleaning of road surface, footpaths on both sides of the road. And this street sweeping should be transported separately without mixing with the domestic or any other commercial establishment in order to ensure efficient. So, these whatever the waste is getting collected should not be involved into the domestic waste, means whatever the dustbin is provided, that this waste should not be mixed into the that particular dustbin. So, this is another the black dustbin, you will see in the number of cities such kind of dustbins is designated black storage bin or container placed in the waste storage depot. So, that these kind of waste we can dispose, the staff can be disposed into such locations. Type of street cleaning equipment. So, type of street cleaning equipments like long handle broom is required, because less strain and support correct posture, and handle should not be heavy. So, likewise this is a one kind of broom, that is fan shaped filament broom. This is somewhat good, and they can broom it in both sides, front side and back side both. And this is another one, the butched filament broom. This normally will do it in the only one side. Okay. So, you can see here in somewhere in Africa, in Indore. This is in Hyderabad, but I think still the staffs are not using the proper clothes, proper shoes also they have to wear. So, this is the one kind of broom to sweep the tree leaves. So, normally length of the broom is required or specified under the rule is 80 to 85 centimeter, weight of the broom is 1 kg, binding material 20 gauge MS sheet ring having width of 1.5 to 2 centimeter. So, likewise the specification also is provided. Type of street cleaning equipments like shovel, you will be required, okay, for to pick up the material. Once it is getting piled up, then you have to transport into the vehicle, whether is a hand cart or tricycle rickshaw. So, you will be required shovel for that purpose. So, you can see it here how this lady is using the shovel and along with the broom. It is a properly designed broom. And hand carts, I think this is also very popular in the street cleaning waste collection, and the size is around 25 to 40 liter. So, that any staff can carry or can transport the waste material. So, you will see here. Now, mechanized streets cleaning, like ULB should make a well informed decision while choosing mechanical sweeper, should consider the local condition, like this is the mechanical broom is provided, but I think this is the ULB should properly define which particular locations they are employing such kind of mechanical sweeper. Maybe in the tourist spot they can do such kind of things. Maybe some area is a well designed area where these machines can be work very well. Okay. Okay, this is another kind of mechanical broom sweeper. So, can also ability to pick up large debris also possible, and also they should have lower energy demand, and this is a vacuum kind of sweeper. So, means the entire material or entire inert is getting vacuumed into the tank. So, this is also regenerative air stripper. This also we can use in some of the particular locations. So, like vacuum sweepers that is also available, which can take up entire inert material, and can not only it will clean the area, but also the waste will be collected itself in the vehicle and get it disposed into the particular area. So, this is the vacuum sweeper. Cleaning of surface drains, this is also important activity, like should ensure through accompanying statutory regulations and monetary fines that citizens and sweepers do not dispose waste into drain. I think first thing this has to be follow. If anyone you will see that waste is getting deposited into the drain, I think there should be some penalties in such cases, that monitoring has to be do. Further approach to prevent this, to make the same staff responsible for cleaning street as well as adjacent drain up to a depth of 45 to say 60 centimeter. If somebody is cleaning that particular road, so in the same the close to that road, whatever drains are available, that is also has to be clean it out. And the staff requirement for drain cleaning depend on the length of the drain. Rule is one person can clean up to 500 meter of a shallow surface drain, not more than 45 to 60 centimeter per day. So, likewise. So, now this this is the one activity you can see, silt collected from surface drain. Silt collected from surface drain in Kerala, you can see. The silt collected from the surface drain should not be allowed to stay in open roads or footpath beyond 4 hours. This is important guideline. I think once it is stored onto the road, it should not be stored more than 4 hours. And wet silt should be removed from the main road in less than 4 hours, and other areas within 24 hours should be directly transported to the landfill or proper disposal facility. And these waste should not be used for or mixed into the composting process. This is one very important guideline, because many times this kind of material is looking like black and is a fine particles, and which can easily mix into the compost and can utilize, but is not supposed to be mixed into the compost. Now, this is a simple flow chart for the collection, transportation, disposal of street sweeping. Like once you are collecting the primary collection, so could be possible to get some biodegradable matter which will go to the processing site, or maybe can add up into the composting facility. And non biodegradable could be properly landfilled properly, or for filling of low lying areas can be utilized. And this drainage cleaning also has to be properly disposed of properly. So, this will be stored into the black bin, and whatever the inert waste will be stored into the white bin, so that you can easily identify what kind of waste are there into the bin. So, So, in this module I talked about just a brief introduction about C&D waste, biomedical waste, e-waste and inert waste also. So, although these kind of discussion you can find it in the different courses, like there are special courses for the biomedical waste, e-waste, there are special courses where complete discussion about this kind of waste, but it is good to have the basic information about this kind of waste in for when you talking about MSW or municipal waste management. So, thank you.